It's time for another Trope Count, where we count all the traditional small-town hot cocoa romance tropes in a Hallmark Christmas movie. The goal? Find the movie that racks up the most tropes. Will it be today's film? Let's find out. A great Hallmark Christmas film must fit the Hallmark feel-good formula. It's a genre of film with repetitive movie tropes that we all love. We identify the tropes into 4 trope categories: story, character, Christmas, and activity. It's all very scientific, and it's fueled by hot cocoa. Today we take a look at the 2018 Hallmark film A Shoe Addict's Christmas, starring Candace Cameron Bure and Luke McFarlane. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, a pair of shoes foretells that these two kids will fall in love at the end. So grab some Christmas cookies and your best pair of shoes. Let's count the tropes that make up A Shoe Addict's Christmas. Noelle will do anything to get out of doing her actual job as the HR rep at the Fulton's department store. She eagerly volunteers to decorate the store for Christmas and, of course, organize those shoes. When she was born, Noelle's parents gave her a Christmas-themed name.
My mother loved the holidays. She wanted to name me Jingle, but my dad talked her out of it.
If you haven't learned from the title, Noelle considers herself a shoe addict, and the film mentions footwear quite a bit.
The shoes in the shoe department. A pair of shoes has a great pair of shoes to put the shoes on.
Noelle is played by former child star Candace Cameron Bure, who joins a number of other former child stars in the Hallmark family. Candace portrayed DJ Tanner on the TGIF classic Full House. I'll try to avoid any Full House references, but if I do, just please forgive me.
Got it, dude.
Along with decorating the store trees, the owners are happy to have Noelle do anything but her job and ask her to plan the Christmas charity gala as well. This is the first year the store is sponsoring the event, and it needs to be very sophisticated. Sit tight. We are only a few minutes into this movie and we already have 5 tropes. Meanwhile, Jake, played by Luke McFarlane, is a firefighter following in his late father's footsteps. We know that he's passed with this slow pan onto the picture of his father on the wall. And Jake is afraid that he can't live up to his father's reputation and is hesitant to take the promotion. We also learn that Jake is looking for love.
Oh, my Lanta?
Sorry about that.
Cut it out.
On her way home, Noelle gets a notification from her phone that her ex-boyfriend Matt, who she clearly is stalking online, is now engaged. The app is clearly a ripoff of Instagram, and apparently you have to scroll down to get the notification to come up. Feeling sad, Noelle visits her father for comfort. She reminisces about her mother, who we also learned has passed a few years ago. We usually only get one dead relative in these films, but this film decided to give us 2 dead parents. Sorry about your loss. Since her mother's passing, Noelle and her father's relationship has never been the same, and after all, her mother shared in her passion for shoes.
And her shoes. We could have had a much bigger house if it hadn't been for your mother and her shoes.
Yeah.
Later that night, Noelle returns to the apartment only to discover in a huge coincidence that Jake is moving into the apartment below hers. Jake attempts to flirt with Noelle, but she wants nothing to do with him.
I'm Jake, by the way.
Noelle.
As in the first.
Nice try, Jake.
How rude.
Noelle is annoyed that he's blocking the hallway of all his boxes, and his charms just don't work. Sorry, Jake. She only has love for Steve.
Duh.
At the department store, Alex asks Noelle to actually do her HR job and look for an old employee file in the basement. A few hours later, Noelle discovers that the store closed early because of the snow and she's locked in. She calls her boss and he tells her to get comfortable and that the fire department will come and let her out. While she waits, Noelle puts on a robe, antlers, and a pair of Crocs. So question, would a shoe addict really embrace Crocs? She grabs a camera taking photos throughout the store, and we learn that her passion is to be a photographer but gave it up when she broke up with her ex-boyfriend Matt. Thinking she is alone, Noelle is shocked to discover a woman in the shoe department. Turns out her name is Charlie, and she's been watching over Noelle as her guardian angel. She wants to get Noelle's life back on track and gives Noelle a pair of shoes to put on. The shoes magically transport Noelle back in time. Just go with it. Noelle finds herself 3 years in the past, shortly after she broke up with her boyfriend Matt. This is the day that Noelle gave up photography and asks her friend Lorna if there's a job available at the department store. Lorna tries to convince her to reconsider giving up photography. After all, she just took this wonderful photo of an old woman. Noelle doesn't know who the woman is, and in the end, it turns out to be the woman in the employee HR file that she was searching for in the basement. This is a side plot that really ends up going nowhere, and I feel like should have been the guardian angel Charlie, but I don't write this stuff. The film also focuses on her father's relationship, and a silent photo auction that Noelle plans for the gala to only win the contest in the end. To keep this video short, I'm choosing to not go into these details, as you will probably discover. The film is filled with side plots. Charlie reminds Noelle to imagine the possibilities if she was given a do-over in life. Suddenly, Noelle is transported into the future, where she has her own photography studio and is wearing a wedding ring. Just as a man walks in the door, Noelle is transported back to the present. Noelle questions, who was that guy? Upon her return to the present, the firefighters arrive to let her out. One of them is her new neighbor Jake. She alerts them of a crazy lady in the shoe department, but the only crazy lady they find is the woman in antlers and Crocs. The next day, Noelle gets annoyed with Jake once again when he accidentally hits her with a snowball during a snowball fight he's having with the neighborhood kids. Noelle receives a phone call from the fire captain letting her know that Jake was assigned to work with her to plan the gala. Up at her apartment, Noelle discovers Charlie has made herself at home, where they discuss the rules for being a guardian angel.
Well, no, I can't just, show up anywhere. There are rules.
Well, what are they then?
Well, I'm still learning them.
Oh, great.
Turns out that Charlie used her magic to bring Jake and Noelle together to plan the gala, and Noelle questions Charlie if Jake is the guy she marries in the future. Jake and Noelle begin to plan the gala, and right away clash over the decor. Jake wants fun, while Noelle wants elegant and tastefulness. While planning for the gala, Jake and Noelle look through a room of decorations. Ignoring the sign that clearly says trained personnel only, Noelle flips the switch, which turns on the music, lights, and snow. Leaving the hotel, they can't find a cab, but that's okay, because Charlie shows up with a horse and buggy and gives them a romantic horse ride home. It really doesn't work because Jake asks Noelle out for dinner and Noelle turns him down.
Listen, I was gonna go get something to eat. I was wondering if maybe you want to come with me? We can see if we have anything in common. About the gala.
Right, for the gala. Well, thanks, but I brought work home, so I'll just meet you at the hotel tomorrow like we planned.
Okay, see you then.
The next day, Noelle and Matt show up for taste testing, only to find that Charlie has arranged for them to bake cookies. While baking, they discuss the importance of shoes. His interest in footwear works because Noelle agrees to accompany him to his firehouse Christmas party.
And I was wondering if you'd like to come.
I would love to come to the party.
Great.
They decorate the firehouse Christmas tree, where we get a pretty blatant Balsam Hill gratuitous product placement. We learn that he considers his fellow firefighters his family and asks Noelle to take a photo of them around the tree as they open presents at the party. The next day, Mrs. Fulton confronts Noelle about the decor for the gala. She learns that they are going to use a snow machine and doesn't find that very sophisticated. Mrs. Fulton orders Jake off the project, but Noelle can't bear to tell him as she has developed feelings for him. Another pair of shoes takes Noelle a year back in time during another Christmas party. Her friend Lauren gives her a very expensive camera lens and encourages her to continue with her dream of taking photos. Noelle is then transported to the future where she's taking photos of a guy named Will. He flirts with her and asks her out. Suddenly, Noelle is forward farther into the future where we finally see who comes through the door. Turns out it's this guy Will who we never met before. This confuses Noelle and the audience, but Charlie reassures her that she's on the right path. We also get the third coat of the film. The common trope of wearing multiple coats, 3 or more, can be awarded with Noelle's gray coat. At the store, Jake learns that he was removed from planning the gala from Mrs. Fulton. He's angry Noelle didn't tell him, and accuses her of not taking him seriously as he storms off. Charlie reassures Noelle that everything will work out, but Noelle doesn't believe her and becomes frustrated, telling Charlie to get out of her life. At the gala, Noelle takes a risk and quits her job to pursue photography, only to be rehired as a photographer for the Fulton department store. Jake apologizes for overreacting and asks her to dance. Suddenly, the heel of her shoe breaks, but Charlie gave her another pair of shoes that transport Noelle into the future. We finally see that she's married to Jake in the future and that the guy Will is Jake's older brother. Sure, whatever. Knowing that she made the right decision, Noelle returns to the present where they give us the final kiss in the fake snow. How many tropes does this film have? Let's add them up.
Oh, my Lanta.
Looking at the numbers, the film is a weird combination of event planning, hoping for a promotion, mourning dead family members, with the couple brought together in the end by Christmas magic from a guardian angel who uses shoes as a time machine. Yes, that is the story. If we add up the different categories, the Shoe Addict Christmas has a total of 27 tropes. The Shoe Addict's Christmas has a lot of plot points that are often hard to follow, with a lot of details that aren't necessary to the story. I also wouldn't classify Noelle as a shoe addict since we don't really see any kind of personal collection of shoes. The highlight of the film for me is Jean Smart's performance as Charlie. She's fun and I wish we could have had more scenes with her and Noelle, as she and Candace have great chemistry together. Did I miss any tropes? If so, tell me in the comments below. A Shoe Addict's Christmas easily tops the Christmas ornament of a higher trope count. Will the next film rank higher? We will see with the next trope count featuring the Brooke Burns, Warren Christie, and Henry Winkler Hallmark film, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year from 2008. How will that movie rank? Consider clicking on the subscribe button to be alerted to when that episode is released. I'm the Christmas Aficionado, and remember, stay off the naughty list.
Fancy charity gala means I have an excuse to buy a new pair of shoes. The shoes, Christmas shoe tree.
Your shoes for Christmas.
And her shoes. Her shoes.
With my shoes.
Looking for some shoes. They were there on the shoe shelf to go shoe shopping with your mother. You put the shoes on that shoe rack and you were all
It's in the shoe department. Put the shoes on. In the shoe department.
There's no one in the shoe department.
Put on shoes. She did the Christmas shoe tree one this year.
Shoes. I don't get shoes.
What do you mean you don't get shoes? Great pair of shoes. Pair of shoes has a great pair of shoes to
Started with shoes?
I still just think they're things to keep your feet warm.
You ambushed me with footwear.
I'm sorry.